Hi, I'm Jordan Macy, and I will be discussing Rhapsody on a Windy Night by T.S. Eliot. With T.S. Eliot, he discusses three main points throughout most of his poems, and those three main points are life, death, and copulation. And within Rhapsody on a Windy Night, it is discussing, there's a repetition of the word memory, which is discussing the timeline of the world. In the timeline of the life and the life around you. The world is a big timeline, from the beginning of the world to the end of the world, and each life in it is a tiny dot. And when you die, you aren't a life anymore, but you're a memory of a life. The first line of Rhapsody on a Windy Night is 12 o'clock, and this can get you thinking, is 12 o'clock the afternoon, or is it midnight? With the afternoon, it is the middle of the day, the highest point of sun, the highest point of knowledge in the middle of your life. Or this could be midnight. Midnight meaning the ending of your life, but the beginning of another. And I believe that this is midnight because held in a lunar synthesis, whispering lunar incantations. So the moon, midnight, is whispering some spells or maybe even warnings of death, and dissolves the floors of memory and all its clear relations. So this is talking about the timeline and the fact that like Hamlet and his gesture, he is holding his gesture's skull in his hand, and he is remembering him and remembering the memories they shared together. But the moment that Hamlet died, all of those memories were perished. It dissolved the floors of memory. As soon as you die, all of those people you share the memories with, they will hold the memories. But as soon as they die, there are no more memories, but of your lives, not of those specific memories. And we know that this is talking about memories and death, and this is midnight because it beats like a fatalistic drum. Midnight shakes the memory. So this is someone, every street lamp that I pass beats like a fatalistic drum, and through the spaces of dark, midnight shakes the memory. This section right here is talking about when someone dies and their soul is lifted from their body, they are walking towards the light, and each of those lights along the way is their heart slowly dying. And at midnight, it's shaking your memory. As you are dying, the memory of you is fading. Like in the Howl Men by T.S. Eliot. I will bring this topic back up later on. This is the bang and whimper. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. This is discussing a life. This is discussing stars. Naturally, stars will explode, but to us, they are slowly fading. And with this is talking about how a life is fading as we know it, but you are bound to be dead anyhow. Regard the woman who hesitates toward you in the light of the door, which opens on her like a grin, and you see the border of her dress is torn and stained with sand, and you see the corner of her eye twist like a crooked pin. So, the woman who hesitates towards you in the light of the door, this could be the Grim Reaper, or the Lady of Death. She is taking you on into your limbo, or your purgatory, to live your death, until you are to be reincarnated, or even if you're to be reincarnated. It is to show you the middle space between whether you get to be in heaven or in hell, or if you get to be reincarnated. And that's where she is taking you right now. She is opening up that door, taking you to your waiting place. And you can tell that she is the Grim Reaper, or the Lady of Death, because of her dress that is torn and stained with sand. It is showing the journeys that she has gone on, picking up each life to take to their next life or to their resting place for all eternity. And twists like a crooked pin. This pin it could be sharp, but yet it is broken. This could be the compass of life, whether it is to take you to hell or to heaven. This pin, it could be crooked because it doesn't know exactly where to take the narrator. And the next repetition, memory throws up high and dry a crowd of twisted things, a twisted branch upon the beach, eaten smooth and polished, as if the world gave up the secret of its skeleton, stiff and white. And then we'll skip a few. Hard and curled and ready to snap. So, bringing back to the point of memory with a repetition. A memory throws up high and dry a crowd of twisted things, a twisted branch upon the beach. So this is a twisted life, and it's been eaten smooth and polished, which is driftwood. And with driftwood, it is resting in between water and the shore, and it is constantly being flipped and smoothed or eaten away. And this could be where your coffin is. You are slowly being eaten away. This could also be your life. The moment you live, you're born, you're slowly dying. And with this, when you finally die, as if the world gave up the secret of its skeleton, stiff and white. So the skeleton is your inner secrets, and the moment that you die, all of your secrets could be given up. And there's nothing you can do about it, because that's the part of life. Remark the cat which flattens itself in the gutter, slips out its tongue, and devours a morsel of rancid blood. Rancid butter. So this is sewage water to feed itself. Many see cats as sneaky, but also dirty. This cat could be black. It could be sinful. This cat is feeding itself with this rancid sewage water, this rancid butter. It knows that it could die from this. It knows that it's bad to be eaten, however it goes after it. Just like with Eve going after the forbidden fruit. Even though God warned her, this serpent is telling her over and over again to take it. So she finally does, and she feeds it to Adam. And with this, the cat is dirty. It is sinful. And just with black cats, those are sinful. And people see those as bad luck because they are dirty and they are sneaky and they are in sin. They are covered in it. They are black. And with this cat, it is feeding itself knowledge, but it's feeding itself the dirty knowledge, the sinful knowledge. It is making itself black inside and out. It's making itself dirty and sneaky and sinful. So the hand of the child, automatic, slip out and pocketed the toy that was running along the quay. I could see nothing behind the child's eye. I've seen eyes in the streets. So with this section right here, this is speaking of the eyes are the beholder of the soul. And there is a glass piece at the Corning Museum of Glass, and it is called To Die Upon a Kiss, which is a famous line in Othello. And in that line, it is saying, to die upon a kiss, and that piece. When you are born, you are pure. And as you go through life, you slowly get more and more sinful. And at the bottom of your life, you know that you're sinful. And you want to be forgiven for your sins. However, that is not always what happens. You're not always forgiven for your sins. And sometimes you die. To die upon a kiss. You have many sins in your life, and you want to be forgiven for them. But in the end, you still die. And you still end up wherever you end up because of those sins that you made. And with this child, you can see nothing behind his eyes because it's a child. And this child has no soul. It's pure, it's white, it's transparent. And sure, as he gets older, he will become more sinful, and you will see something behind its eyes. And you can see this with, I have seen eyes in the streets. So these eyes are everywhere. These eyes are adults filled with sin. And you can see them everywhere, but all of the children, they are transparent, because they are still pure and innocent. Trying to peer through lighted shutters, and a crab one afternoon in a pool, an old crab with barnacles on its back gripped the end of the stick which I held him. So this old crab, this crab is showing that it is stuck. With many people, they compare perfume, Granwy. He was compared to a tick. And he did like go back and forth, up and down the social scale, but he always went back to the beginning. And this is just like with all of us. With this crab, on the timeline, it can go forward and backwards. However, it chooses to stay in one place and just move that way. So this, with a crab, it can only move side to side. The timeline is up and down. And this is the beginning of your life, this is the end of your life, this is the knowledge that you had when you were a child, this is the knowledge you could gain if you moved. However, this crab is moving back and forth, not wanting to go anywhere. It is just moving side and side, and this is why it has barnacles, because it refuses to learn anymore, it refuses to change. And it's an old crab. An old crab with barnacles on its back gripped the end of the stick which I held him. So this could be, as the crab is dying, it wants to be moved. It wants to learn, but it knows that it can't anymore because it's too old. It is dying, and it is reaching out, and it is grabbing for its final knowledge as it will die. But this crab will never get it because he stayed in that one place for his entire life. And he refused to learn. Regard the moon. Lune le ne gardne akun rakun. The moon does not keep grudges. She winks a feeble eye and smiles into the corners. So the moon does not hold grudges. And that is kind of ironic because she also winks a feeble eye. So she knows you have something to hide. This moon is very smart, and she knows what you are capable of. She knows all of the sin that you have had in your life, but she is that light that will take you on to your next life. The moon is the lady of the dead. The moon is the grim reaper. It is taking you on to your next life. It is taking you on to your eternity, onto your eternity holding place. And she doesn't hold grudges. She just knows you're going to end up in a place. She's going to take you to wherever you're supposed to be. And that's it. She just winks a feeble eye. She knows what is going to happen to you. But she does not hold grudges. because it was your own fault. The moon has lost her memory. So this is speaking of the dead. The moon has been here since the beginning of Earth, and it has seen so many lives and deaths, and it can't remember. The moon cannot remember each and every single one of these lives because with every memory that she holds, she loses one. With every life that she sees, she forgets one that has already been lived. The moon cannot hold all of our memories. The moon cannot hold each of our lives. The moon forgets us. Because the moon is here beginning to end, and we are only a small dot on the timeline. The lamp said 4 o'clock. Here's the number on the door. Memory. You have the key. The little lamp spreads a ring on the stair. Mount. The bed is open. The toothbrush hangs on the wall. Put your shoes on the door. Sleep. Prepare for life. So this whole section is you have finally gotten to your last resting place. You have gone into the light. The Lady of Death is taking you to your limbo, and you are waiting for your reincarnation. Just like with Cats the musical. This entire musical is about the Jellicle cats picking one. And this one cat gets to be reincarnated, and it gets to go on to live a whole nother life all over again. And with this section, from the lamp said to prepare for life, it is speaking of that limbo, your final resting place until your reincarnation. You are preparing for your reincarnation, for your next life, just like the Jellicle cat. And the last twist of the knife. As we come back, as I'm closing up this discussion, we are speaking of the Hollow Men, as I said, with a bang, not with a bang, but with a whimper. The last twist of the knife. Death can be quick. However, with every knife death, it does take a while. You bleed out slowly, you're in agonizing pain. The last twist of the knife, you have been dying ever since you were born. You have been dying throughout this entire timeline of your life. And then at the end, as you take your final breath, one last twist of the knife, and you are dead. So it seems like this life went out with a bang. However, we have been whimpering out throughout our entire lives. We have been just a memory. A life is just as quick as a star. A star, as we look up in the sky, there are so many stars that are already gone. However, because there are billions of light years away, we are seeing them fade instead of explode. And stars explode because of heat. And with this heat, we can see that they are powerful. Our lives do mean something. However, on this giant timeline of the Earth, we are only a small dot. We are only a memory, and we mean barely anything. So just like with the Hollow Men, we don't go out with a bang, but with a whimper. The last twist of the knife is our death. Our slow, agonizing, painfully long death from the beginning of our lives is to end with the last twist of the knife, our death. Small dot on a timeline. And maybe we'll remember it, and maybe not.